confidence factor. I'm going to pose a question to you because I see this a lot, and I see this happening over and over, and I see the struggle that hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens and hundreds of thousands of women try so hard on, on a weight loss diet and restrict. And then years down the line, maybe even just months down the line, end up right back where they started or worse off. Now, after working with hundreds of women over the last 4 to 5 years and connecting with thousands of you inside of this Love Yourself Journey Facebook group and on Instagram. And if you aren't on Instagram, come on and join the party at Jessica Kishpaw. And if you're not in the Love Yourself Journey Facebook group and you're watching on Instagram, come on and join the party in the Facebook group, Love Yourself Journey. So after interacting with all of you, I've confirmed one non-negotiable predictor of success that literally has nothing to do with nutrition skills, level of experience, where you're at in the journey, or the amount of exercise you do. Okay. Now, before I dive into this, I want you to hear me on this. So go ahead, stop what you're doing, turn up the volume if you need to, and hear this. Don't negate the power of making a decision. Don't negate the power of making a decision. After I share the #1 predictor of success, you cannot go back in time and unhear and unfeel what I am about to share with you. You can either decide to do nothing with that, or you can decide to do the exercise that I'm going to give you so you can start building up the resiliency required to be successful. So it's the ability, right? The ability to be successful. Okay, so what is the #1 predictor of success? It is the ability to believe in yourself before there's any level of certainty, before you're successful, and definitely before you start to lose the weight. It's the ability to get started and stay the course without anyone else's permission, validation, or support. Now, before you dismiss this as woo-woo or, not your issue, or you think, yeah, Jessica, it's easy for you to say this, you don't know my situation, I urge you to let down your guard and be open to what I'm sharing today, because I'm certain that without your own ability to believe in yourself, you will not reach the level of success you desire and deserve. And in a minute, I'm going to walk through a very powerful exercise that I've used countless times, and I get my clients to use when they're 2 miles away from the finish line of a marathon, right? And they start to freak out. And they start to self-sabotage. Okay, but before I do that, I want to share just a brief personal story about what it means to believe in yourself before you have certainty, before you have money, before you have support. I want to turn back the clocks to about 2017. I was still practicing as an attorney. I was pregnant with my first child. I was also in nutrition school and working with a few clients, and also working on myself in my own personal, physical, and mental journey. Okay, my own personal development journey. I was working, I had hired mindset coaches and worked with various ones around that time who helped me on this personal journey to overcome my own limiting beliefs, my own attachment and relationship with food, my own behaviors. Okay. And then after my first child was born, I got pregnant with my second child and decided to leave my job and try to do this nutrition coaching thing on my own. And I struggled for a while, and I was throwing spaghetti against the wall, trying to help everyone under the sun get healthy. I just wanted to help people. I just wanted to help people get healthy, right? And I was really failing. I was failing at understanding the best way that I was suited to work with clients or even get new clients. And then that moment that changed my life. Okay, that moment happened. It is what I now coin as my no plan B, right? No plan B, when you don't have a plan B, my no plan B decision to transform my life, because I realized that I could change my life personally. And now I was determined to change my life professionally and to become financially independent and work in a space that gave me passion and purpose every single day. And at that time, I had no aspirations of, returning to practice as an attorney. I had no aspirations of running a multi-six-figure company or anything along those lines. I just wanted to be able to stay home with my son at the time, new one on the way, pay my bills, do something I love, and have some extra cash to, go to Disney World or, send my kids to preschool or, little things like that where I wouldn't have to worry about how much it would cost. And so, I was scrolling the internet as we do. I came across a woman who helped health practitioners, coaches, and fitness professionals take their business online. And the cost of her program, which promised to set me up with an entire online system with marketing tools and copywriting and done for you tech and, how to grow an income producing business online. Right? Immediately, I knew that this was the woman that I needed to work with for the next 6 months. This is what I had been searching for. This is why I had been throwing spaghetti against the wall for so long. This is what I needed. I felt in my gut. This was going to be the thing that helped me transform my business, my professional life, and really transform my life for what that would then, have a ripple effect with. Except I had a almost 1-year-old. I was pregnant with my second child. I certainly didn't have the financial resources to spend over $10,000 for her 6-month program. And I definitely had pushback from my otherwise supportive husband who supports me in other ways, who kept asking me like, really? Is now the time? Is now the right time to build a business and invest this type of money that we do not have? Like, you are pregnant. We have a child. You do not have much of an income. Right? I could have decided that because my struggling coaching business wasn't making money yet, and because I had a baby on the way and a little one at home, that it wasn't an option. It just simply was not an option I could afford or justify spending money on. And I could have let myself, my self-doubt take over and stop me right there from enrolling. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Instead, I asked myself, I said, Jessica, do you believe you're capable of doing what you are set out to do? Are you willing to take a risk and bet on yourself? And I thought, and I said, hell yeah. Like, hell yes, I am. You are worth it. You are worth it, and you are capable, and you are smart. And risk-taking is where the growth happens. Otherwise, you're stuck in the comfort zone, and you stay stuck. You don't get anywhere. So this is the part of the story where I decided to go for it, to spend money I did not have, and not to tell a single other family or friend about it, because they would all think I was crazy and they would talk me out of it. And my self-belief was like rocky at best, and, one uber guilt trippy passive aggressive comment from like a friend or maybe my mom, it would have caused me to fold. Forget it. So I took out a new credit card. I took out debt. That is what I did. I paid for the program on a payment plan. And I knew in my gut, I needed to do this. And it was so uncomfortable. And it was so uncomfortable taking on new debt. And it was so uncomfortable also learning an entire new skill set around an online business with email and social media marketing and advertising and copywriting and sales and tech. But even though it was so uncomfortable, I knew I could do it. I had already proven to myself that I could do hard things. Law school. Law school in alone, okay? Raising a baby. If you're a mother, that's a hard job to have, okay? Raising a baby who, through 6 weeks of my pregnancy with my very first child, we were told that he had Edwards syndrome and he was going to die. He was probably going to die in utero. And after 6 weeks of painful testing and not knowing, and what turned out to be false positives, 6 weeks of anxiety, getting through that, completing a marathon. If you're a runner, if you've ever crossed the finish line of 26.2 miles, which I completed in 2015, and that's just to name a few things. And I was smart, I was capable, I was driven. I just needed the skills and I needed the support. I needed to stop throwing spaghetti against the wall, and I knew that something needed to change. And those things were my anchor. If I could do those things, I could do this. So, if you're someone who hears that knee-jerk voice that tells you, you need to keep trying and trying on your own, you need to keep trying to eat healthy and going on a diet and try, before you really get started in an actual commitment and an actual journey. If you have that voice in your head saying, you should not be investing money in yourself because it's selfish. Who do you think you are who has this big audacious goal and dream to live a healthy, vibrant, happy life? Right? That voice in your head that says, I don't have the time to devote to this because I work full time and I have 3 kids. That voice, I don't know how to shift my mindset around food. I'm not comfortable putting myself out there. My spouse doesn't support me. My family thinks I'm crazy. Or maybe your voice says, I'm not entirely sure I can make this work. Those are your voices. Those are your voices in your head. Let me first explain how confidence works. Okay, and then I'm going to give you the 3-step technique that we use to build the requirements for success. All right, so guys with me? Give me a yes in the comments if you are with me. Awesome, Teresa, you rock. You're superwoman. Okay, 4 C's, ready? 4 C's to confidence, which I'm about to share with you. I learned from my mentor, who I just spoke about. She learned it from other mentors. You can see that there's a pattern here of success breeds success, right? Skill sets breed skill sets. And so, of course, I will share that with you because it's important. And one of the most common questions I get from many, many women is, Jessica, how do I have the confidence to do X? How do I have the confidence to lose weight? How do I have the confidence? I don't have the confidence. I don't have the confidence to overcome emotional eating. I don't have the confidence to heal my relationship with food. How do I have the confidence? I'm not confident enough, so I can't possibly get started. I can't possibly change these things, right? Now, I chuckle because they have it backwards. Confidence is the last thing you acquire. Okay, confidence is the last thing you acquire. The 4 C's to confidence work like this: commitment, courage, capability, confidence. Okay. It has been my experience that most women in this group, most women who I work with, most women who I've come across who have struggled with weight or body confidence or emotional eating, body image, get really tripped up on this first step because their past failures are dictating their present emotions. The first step is commitment. If you're looking to build self-belief and confidence, you first have to make a decisive commitment. Okay, then after you've made that commitment to say, for example, stop dieting. Okay, so you can finally listen to what your body needs from a place of compassion rather than punishment. You need to find the courage to then take action. It's this second seat of courage that feels really, really scary or yucky because you have no proof that what you've committed to will actually work out. So you stop yourself before you even get started because you're scared. And in a minute, I'm going to give you a technique to overcome that fear. Okay, so we have commit, we have courage, and then we move on to the third C, which is capability. You can only acquire capability after you do the things that feel scary to you. There is no possible way for you to show yourself you're capable without first taking action. And I often call that imperfect action. So you've got to do the scary thing before you feel capable. It's backwards, totally backwards. I get it. And that's how it goes. The really good news is once you take action and start to feel capable, you see results. And that fourth C, confidence, is right around the corner. Drop a 1 in the comments if that makes sense. Drop a 1 if that makes sense. Confidence, the fourth C of confidence, only comes after you've proven you can do it, not before. It does not happen before you commit. It does not happen before you get started. It happens after. This is why self-belief from the get-go is the number one predictor of your success, because self-belief is what sustains you until the confidence comes. Let me repeat that. Self-belief is the number one predictor of success, and it is what sustains you until the confidence comes. One more time. For those of you guys whose minds are wandering, maybe you just popped in here or your kids just came screaming into the room. Self-belief is the number one predictor of success, and it is what sustains you until the confidence comes. That is why so many smart, capable, intelligent, purpose-driven women fail. They fail at healing their relationship with food. They fail at losing the weight and keeping it off. And they run this roller coaster yo-yo diet ride for years because they mistakenly think that they should feel confident right off the bat because they believe they should be able to figure it all out on their own. And when success and confidence doesn't happen, they start to doubt themselves and they let fear take over, which brings any momentum to an absolute grinding halt. Got it so far? All right, let's walk through the most powerful technique when it comes to self-belief, regardless of where you are at in your journey. The technique that I'm talking about is called anchoring. It is an NLP technique, and maybe you've heard of it. I am not a certified NLP practitioner. I've modified it slightly to become just a powerful visualization technique that we've used to shift out feeling, our feeling state to a more positive one, just on demand. How would you like that? How would that feel to you? The truth is there are going to be many, many, many times throughout your journey where your confidence dips, where your self-belief tanks. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can either give into overwhelm, into fear, into self-doubt, or you can acquire the techniques, one of which is anchoring, to get you into a better feeling state quickly. Your ability to be able to shift your feeling state will be the thing to get you through the darkness with your self-belief intact. This is the secret to success. Your ability to modify your feeling and therefore your thinking state at a moment's notice. So let's walk through. Let's walk through how to use the anchor visualization technique together so you can define your own anchor and start to practice this technique daily, okay? So step one, there are 3 steps here. Choose a state. Okay, this is where you set an intention for the emotional state you want to anchor. And so for the purposes of this example, let's choose the state of complete capability, meaning you desire to feel 100% capable of success, like capable and confident and motivated, even before you actually feel it, okay? Step number 2, choose the anchor experience. This is where you close your eyes and you go back to a moment in your life where you felt absolutely positively capable. Okay. This is usually going to come after a particularly challenging experience that you lived through. And you can look back and realize, wow, what a strong, powerful badass am I, right? Okay. So I'll share my anchor experience with you, and then I will give you some other experiences you can draw from. But so I have 2, which I mentioned. So one is my experience through pregnancy, which was devastating for such a long time until we came out on the other end and got through the pregnancy. Like I said, we were told that our baby was not going to live, but we didn't know. And then we had a test, and then we had to wait, and then we had to wait some more. And the anxiety and all of the feelings around that sort of spiraled into a lot of overwhelm. And we got through it. I got through it with my husband, and came out on the other end with a beautiful baby boy. The other experience that I did mention is running, not walking, running and completing the New York City Marathon in 2015 from a person who had never run more than 2-3 miles to running 26.2 miles running and actually completing it on, I believe, gosh, I don't have my exact time, but I think it was like under 4.5 hours, and had an absolute blast doing so. It was probably one of the most dynamic, amazing. Goose pimples are actually coming up on my arms right now as I think about it. But any time that I feel incapable, I think about, now who here has ever run a marathon, if you want to share, because that feeling, like New York City Marathon, running down First Avenue, coming over the bridge, and like, boom, there's crowds and everyone's cheering, and they're cheering your name because you have your name on your shirt, and you're like running, and you're on mile 17, and you hit that wall that around 18, 19, 20, and you're like, oh God, everything kind of hurts. And like, I don't know if I can do this. And I still have 6.2 miles to go. And you're like, oh my gosh. And you're going, and you just keep doing it, and you keep going. And it's so amazing. And you get into Central Park, and you're like, oh my God, the finish line is, I'm like gonna tear up in a second because it's emotional, you guys. It's so emotional. It's so amazing. And these experiences, I can look back and be like, how awesome was I to get through those things? How inspirational, how awesome, how strong am I? Like whenever I hear that negative experience in my head saying like, Jessica, can you do this? My next thought is like, shut the fuck up. Like I got through a marathon and a pregnancy of like almost lost a baby. And like, of course I can. Of course I can. Now, maybe your anchor is not quite the same. Maybe it's way more dramatic, way more serious. Maybe it is less dramatic, less serious. Some, other examples could be, like in investing in and passing the final examination that awards you your professional designation. Maybe it's like surviving and thriving through a divorce. Again, maybe it's training for and crossing the finish line of some sort of race, or making the move and then relocating across the country, giving birth. So not only just getting through a traumatic pregnancy experience, the actual process of giving birth, my friends, for moms out there, my Lord, that is strength. The point is that after the experience was over, you felt so capable and so powerful. That's your anchor. Maybe your anchor experience is completely obvious. Like, boom, you have it right now. You want to type it in the chat, type it in the comments. Maybe you'll have to take a moment to think about it. Maybe you're totally stumped. If you're totally stumped, go ask a loved one. What are they proud of you for? How have you showed up for yourself and accomplished something great? Achieved greatness through a challenge, resiliency. Step number 3, choose the physiology. This is where you're going to change your current physiology to match the physiology of the state you're trying to anchor. That amazing feeling that you came through the challenging experience. You've got out on the other side. So think of, say, a song that makes you feel like you can run through walls. Okay. That's the feeling I'm talking about. The one where you can like crank it up and you're like, yes, right? When you start to feel overwhelmed or incapable, or, when the fear feels like it's going to swallow you whole, turn the song up, crank it up, and remember the anchor experience that you chose in step 2. You're changing your physiological state to match the feeling of absolute capability, power, like Beyonce, like Run the World, or, I particularly like Pitch Perfect. It's the finale of the Pitch Perfect movie. Don't judge me. Or anything you love that really pumps you up, right? So before we go to your quick action step, let's just review. Self-belief is the number 1 predictor of success, because it's your own self-belief that will get you through everything you're about to experience, because confidence is the last thing, the last feeling you'll acquire. You cannot wait to feel confident before you take action. Self-belief is the thing that will sustain you, that you must learn to draw on at will. And there's a lot of skills and a lot of tools and a lot of techniques and a lot of support and a lot of coaching and a lot of things that can help you build that self-belief. And so anchoring is just one small little tool that comes into play. And so here's what I want you to do now when it comes to anchoring. Think about the 3 steps to creating your own personal anchoring technique. And then only, if you feel comfortable, or especially if you do not feel comfortable, okay, share it with me in the comments, or send me a PM, or send me a DM if you're on IG. I'd love to hear from you. I totally love it. I love to hear it. I would love to hear what your anchoring technique is. Okay. Whew. Intense, right? I got a little intense, a little emotional, but oh so needed, right? Self-belief before proof of concept.